Good afternoon, and we're into June, and I'm wearing a reasonably warm top. The weather's turned slightly today, a bit rainy, but I'm in the shed doing a few drawings, and today we're looking at gannets. Gannets are the UK's, northern gannets, are the UK's largest seabird, amazing hunter of fish. I should have been diving in Lundy this weekend, where there are gannets, wonderful, beautiful birds, really white, lovely black wingtips, and of course they dive from a great height into the sea to eat the fish. So they've got an amazing skull, and I was lucky enough to find a skull last year, so I'm going to sketch that today. So we're looking at gannets. So here is a gannet skull. You can see it's a big skull. It's a really big bird skull. Amazing, really. These other skulls, for comparison, this is a cormorant with this beautiful, lovely, thin, hooked beak. So a cormorant skull. I mean, an amazing skull, a beautiful skull. This is just the upper half, and then this is. I mean, you can guess if you like. What do you think that is? It's a grey heron. So this is a heron that you might find, hunting fish in the streams and dikes, or in Somerset here, the reens. Beautiful sharp beak, a heron. And you can see these big nostrils on a heron's beak there, on the upper beak. But yeah, beautiful beak, the heron, really kind of deliberately shaped, isn't it? With that lovely kind of raised eyebrow almost. What's different about a gannet is also, it's a fish hunting beak. It's a beak that's designed to be plunged into the sea from a height. And if you take off the bill sheaths, you've got these coverings on a beak, look. So this is a covering that goes on the beak. And if you look closely at the gannet's bill sheath here, it's got this very sharp edge, this kind of ragged edge for gripping onto fish. Really spiky, actually. You wouldn't believe it unless you'd seen it. But if you look at the skull itself, one of the most notable things is that there are no external nostrils. So if you look at a heron, there are external nostrils here, very clearly visible, as they are with many birds, but not in a gannet, because it hits the water at such a speed that I guess it can't have nostrils, because water would shoot up them. So the nostrils are actually hidden within the structures of the inside of the mouth. So the gannet has no external nostrils, but an amazingly strong head. Look at that, the strength of that is just really solid. The head of the gannet. So a stunning skull, as I say, bigger than a heron, just heavier than a heron by some measure. As I say, it's the biggest UK seabird. And then the lower beak goes, that's the heron, the lower beak goes there, as I say. So today we're looking at the gannet skull, an amazing skull, a very strong skull, designed to be take the blow of a very high dive into water for catching those fish. The eyes are quite forward placed on the head so that the gannet can see forwards, good stereoscopic vision so that it can judge distances effectively when it spots those fish on the surface and dives from a great height. So, gannet skulls today, we're going to do a little sketch of those. So enjoy, and welcome to June. How have we come so far? Okay. So this is me drawing in the sun yesterday, rainier today, but trying to draw lightly with ink dip pen. So that's a nib pen dipping in brown sepia ink, pardon me, hiccup. Got to be quite committing with ink, so trying to get the lines, reasonably well proportioned and establishing the outline, the shape of the gannet skull. This is the upper skull, of course, that wonderful orbit of the eye, and you can see there the structures within the skull, so the hole for the optic nerve, and obviously then the lower beak going in now. These beaks with their bill sheaths on the beaks, and I sketch it later on without the bill sheaths on. So using brown ink, nice fast light marks, and then using hatching to shade in detail and build up some of that tone. Saying sitting outside. Rather foolishly, I left this drawing on the table outside, and it got a bit damp, so the ink bled somewhat in the evening. But it only adds to the outsidey quality of the drawing. So dropping some shading into the eye, trying to show obviously how the darkness of that socket, so it stands out from the rest of the skull, and then adding all the detail, the suture marks and the divisions within the skull, and then the dark tone to show the inside of that lower jaw look. As I said, the bill sheath on the gannet has this serrated edge for catching slippery fish. So remarkably kind of spiky little rim on the edge of the beak. So building up the drawing, lots of hatching, enjoying using the nice brown ink, adding a bit of tone, but trying not to lose the fact that the skull is of course largely pale cream coloured. It's not dark, but you're trying to capture some of the shadow, and the bill sheath is slightly yellower. So I'm going to stop talking there, but that's the kind of principle of it. Just confidently adding that tone to give it shape. So I've recorded a couple of the drawings as I was putting together this sheet of studies. Now, most of the natural history studies, trying to show some of the detail here, the kind of interesting surface marks on the bone, and then trying to hold the skull in different angles to show the skull from different positions as I build up drawings over the page. And then at the end I put a wash of ink in the background so that the skulls stand off. You can see the skull as the kind of the pale drawings against a coloured background. Okay, enjoy. In the second drawing here you can see that I've added a central line, and I'm building up the drawing symmetrically around that vertical line. When you're drawing skulls, it's quite a good idea to, if you're drawing a plan view, particularly from the top or the bottom, to give yourself a central line to try and balance the two sides together, because they're often beautifully symmetrical, and none more so than this Gannet skull. I mean, the dagger-like bill, it's such a beautiful shape. Kind of very deliberate, kind of weaponized skull. It's designed to hit the water at high speed and then grab a fish. I mean, an astonishing feat of accuracy. But of course the Gannet can swim underwater to a degree and kind of grab fish, but it's about that plunge dive initially. And here's the sheet of studies. So a number of Gannets from, the same skull, but a number of positions, looking at the skull from different angles, flipping it around, so you've got side views, plan views, and then maybe three-quarter view as well there, to kind of give a sense of the shape of the skull. Well, hope you enjoyed that as we start June. Hard to believe it's June, really. Astonishing. Still in lockdown, but coming out of lockdown. Still drawing. So stay creative, stay safe. Hope you enjoyed Gannet's Amazing Hunters of the Open Ocean. And we'll find something else to draw for tomorrow. Thank you then. Bye.